What is up? Welcome back. It's Monday. Let's get into the news. There's not a lot. I'll be honest, there's not a lot really going on. Something jumped out at me that I was like, oh, that is interesting. And it's a film I've actually really not talked about all that much because I've not really shot it at all. But it's Cinestill's 400D, the D standing for dynamic as opposed to daylight, which some could argue is Kodak Vision 3 250D. But I didn't say that. So this 400D film is now being released in 4x5 for large format photographers. As that's not something I really partake in. It's not really like all of that whoa to me, but I think in recent months, what I've learned the most is that like just because it's something I don't enjoy or something that I don't necessarily engage in doesn't mean it's not interesting news, if that makes sense. And I think that with all of the Cinestill controversy and whatnot, this is kind of a good look to some degree because they had made like the statement when they released 400D in 2021. Was it 2020, 2022? When they released that, they were like, we want to do 35, 120, and 4x5. And now they've done that, and that is cool. If I was to shoot large format, I don't know if I would get some. It's already sold out, which is like, obviously there is a demand for it, which is nice. And it's good to see, companies kind of going into a more exclusive realm of film as opposed to making another thing of 35 millimeter or 120, what have you. So that's cool. And that's pretty much the news. Like I said, there's not really much to talk about. So I guess we can talk about a few other things though while we're gathered here today. I have a video coming out soon-ish about like a buying guide for 2024 in my opinion. I also have another video planned on a few cameras I want to do some spotlight videos for. So be sure to subscribe to stay tuned for that. And then also UFC 300 is this week. So that is news. I'll give a brief rundown of like my predictions. One, I think that Cody Garbrandt has a really good chance of beating Deiveson Figueiredo. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I would favor Cody because he's got knockout power and all that stuff, really impressive footwork. He's on a bit of a streak. Granted, it's against a bunch of cans, but Deiveson Figueiredo's not really knocked anyone out since Joseph Benavidez, and his other like fights lately have been a bit more humdrum. So I would not be too shocked if Cody won. I think Jim Miller is going to beat Bobby Green because Jim Miller has been more active against better competition and has looked better. Bobby Green just got knocked out in December, so that's not a great look. I think Marina Rodriguez is going to beat Jessica Andrade because I really like Marina Rodriguez. I think her Muay Thai striking is next level, and Jessica Andrade has not really looked great as of lately. She's also getting up there in age, or at least fighting age. Even though I think Marina Rodriguez is older, I think Jessica Andrade has been through a lot more mileage. And yeah, that would be that fight there. Renato Moicano is probably going to beat Jalen Turner. I'm not super impressed by Jalen Turner. He's a really good rangy striker against shorter people. He didn't look great against Mateus Gamrot. He didn't look good against a one-armed Dan Hooker. And yeah, he knocked out Bobby Green, but Bobby Green is a fraction of the size. And Jalen Turner, I feel like, just has a susceptibility to getting submitted. And Renato Moicano definitely brings that threat to the table. Let's see, what else? What other fights are on the card? Kayla Harrison, Holly Holm. I don't care. I feel like Kayla Harrison cutting so much weight puts her at jeopardy of losing. I feel like Holly Holm is 42 years old, which puts her at jeopardy for losing. So whatever happens, we all lose pretty much. Oh, Aljamain Sterling, I think he's going to beat Calvin Kattar. I think his grappling and back taking is much better. Calvin Kattar recently came off of a massive leg injury, so who knows? But I think that Aljamain Sterling is huge. Alexander Rakic, I think, is going to lose to Yuri Prochazka because he's also coming off a leg injury, hasn't fought for like 2 years. And I just think that Yuri Prochazka is a little bit more of an intriguing striker. And I don't know, Rakic has looked impressive at times, but also is very slow and is very calculated. And I feel like Yuri Prochazka is the proverbial monkey wrench into that series of gears. Moving on to the main card, Bo Nickel is going to beat Cody Brundage. I think everyone knows that. Fun fact, I remember watching Bo Nickel wrestling for Penn State, and I was like, this guy's really good. And then he came into fighting, and I was like, oh, this guy's very good. And then Charles Oliveira had better beat Arman Tsarukyan, or I will be eternally very sad. Charles Oliveira, I think, is more tested, and Arman Tsarukyan has looked very good, granted, but also I think with Mateusz Gamrot's like later performances, he's kind of not as good, I think, as Arman Tsarukyan made him look in that fight. Granted, that was a while ago, but I just feel like Charles Oliveira is next level. And then we have the BMF title, which I don't really care about, but I think Max Holloway has a really good chance of beating Justin Gaethje. I think he's rangier. I think Justin Gaethje has good kicking power, but I don't see it as much in the punching ability. I think the last guy he knocked out to punches was Tony Ferguson, and before that, Donald Cerrone, and before that, James Vick and Edson Barbosa, all of which were kind of on the tail end of their careers at 155. Edson Barbosa later moved down to 145, where he's found renewed success. James Vick then got knocked out like 5 more times. Donald Cerrone moved back and forth from welterweight to 155, not really looking too good. And obviously the Tony Ferguson ass whooping was largely contributed to the fact that Tony Ferguson cut weight like a month prior or a few weeks prior, and it just didn't look good. Granted, that was a really good performance by Justin Gaethje, but I think that Max Holloway is just a better fighter, but I'm intrigued to see the fight regardless. Zhang Weili is definitely going to beat Yang Jianan. I'm like 99% sure of that. Yang Jianan's good, but Zhang Weili is the best, I think. And then for the main event, it's going to be Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira, and part of me wants to pick Jamal Hill because I think he has very, very clean boxing, but the other part of me knows that he's also coming off a massive Achilles injury, and Alex Pereira's looked very, very good. And I think Alex Pereira is just a, obviously world-class striker and has more propensity to find openings, and Jamal Hill has defensive holes that I think Pereira can exploit. And on top of that, I think he's been a lot more active lately, so he's going to be a lot more in the rhythm. That being said, I do think Jamal Hill's really, really good and could also find some defensive holes to exploit in Alex Pereira, because Alex Pereira can be hit. We've seen that before, but Alex Pereira has devastating leg kicks, and with somebody coming off of Achilles injury, it's like not a great look. So I'm intrigued to see all of the fights that I've listed. I think I didn't miss any. Sadiq versus Diego. I think Diego's going to win. Diego Lopez is an incredible talent, and he's one of my favorite fighters. He's got the worst haircut, but some of the best fighting ability, I think. And I think Sadiq Youssef is good, but I don't think he has looked very good lately. He made Alex Caceres look really good. And the war that he was in with Edson Barbosa, I don't know, not a great look. Not a great look to be in a war with Edson Barbosa in 2023. So I'm going to go with Diego Lopez there, and I think I got the rest of the fights now. Yeah, that's all. The UFC fights should be good. Film photography videos coming out soon should be better. And then I've got a few repair videos that I'm kind of in the process of working on. But still TBD. I'm gonna say fucking, what is it? April 8th. Let's say May 6th. I'm gonna give myself May 6th. May 6th, I'm going to have a new strategy of this channel. I've been talking about it, kind of hinting at it for a while. If you got to this point, you listened through all my 5 predictions, so congratulations, this is your reward. I'm going to have an idea figured out for kind of where I want to take things, not only as my business, but also like in creating content and kind of where I want that to head. So I'm going to spend the next like month kind of figuring that out. And hopefully by the time May 6th comes around, I'll be ready to kind of do a final push into what that's going to look like. And yeah, I think that about covers it. Honestly, I'm excited about certain things, but I think this is kind of coming from a necessity point, or like a point of necessity where it's like, I need to figure something out. Because I like where I'm at right now, but I do kind of feel a desire to continue to grow and just kind of be better and evolve. And I just feel like lately, with the way like moving went and with the way work, my job has gone, it's been really hard to like see past that. Like I just got my eyes to the ground trying to get through day to day. And I kind of want to change that. I just don't like the way I feel about that. So we'll figure it out. May 6th, I'll have an announcement video, and go from there. It'll be Romping Bronco 2.0 or 3.0 or 4. I've done a lot of reinventions at this point, but it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it, as I hope you are as well. But until then, thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any more news and or similar content. Let me know what you think of this angle here. I'm not super in love with it, pretty much willing to change it. I kind of like sitting over back there because I think it looks a little bit better and the chair is a little bit more comfortable and less squeaky, but we'll get there, and I'll catch you on the next one.